Hello everyone and welcome to a slice of my life. This is going to be a review video all about the Olight Warrior Mini 2. Now, I'm going to say this is yet again another new setup. I've got a completely different tripod this time thanks to my buddy CK. So I'm actually using two different tripods, one for this camera and another for a microphone which is right next to my mouth. So hopefully the audio quality is better, because after reviewing the previous video, which is the Damn Designs Fenrir review video, I felt that the audio had some issues, and I'm trying to also kind of figure out where exactly that source of electronic interference is coming from. And I read online in some forums and Reddit that it might actually be the phone itself. So this time I'm actually turning the phone to airplane mode and then turning off the Wi-Fi, turning off Bluetooth completely. So hopefully that helps. If there is further electronic interference, then I'm going to assume it's the lights, because this time there's actually 4 sources of light. But I also want to add that I'm really happy with this new setup, because it means that I don't have to add any additional lens onto my iPhone, because well guys, I'm using an iPhone 10. I know it's high time for me to upgrade, but basically because of this new setup, I'm now able to reach really far up, which also means that I'm able to have larger sized packages and get everything in frame. So anyway, all of that aside, I hope that this works out. I apologize if there's any interference or any kind of hiccups here and there. Oh yeah, one more thing, because the phone is so high up, I'm actually not able to look at what's on screen, meaning to say that I'm not able to kind of look at a monitor while recording. So I'm just gonna wing it. And I'm kind of trying out a different workflow. I've actually got markers that you can't really see. So hopefully this works out. Let's just see how this goes. Now let's bring the focus back to the main star of the show, the Olight Warrior Mini 2. This, I have to say a huge thank you and a shout out to Olight, especially Mora, for putting this in my hands. I've actually had this in my possession for over a month now, and I've been EDCing this guy for the past couple of weeks. However, I must say that I put everything back into the box exactly the way it was in order for me to share with you guys what the unboxing experience is. So with that in mind, let's start by taking a look at the box. This is the packaging. This is slightly different because this features a flip open kind of mechanism. Opening. What am I saying, guys? It's the flap to open it. Usually you kind of slide it open or there's a magnetic clasp, but for this time it is via a very standard flap to open up the box. But we have an image of the Olight Warrior Mini 2 here on the front of the box in a spot UV treatment, and on the sides it's very clean. You have the 5-year warranty and the QR code here, and on the back of course are some standard specs that you will see, so we'll get to all of this later on. On the other side you actually have 4 of these things applications. So one thing I'm going to call out is that this is kind of marketed as a sort of a tactical / self-defense kind of tool, which I will get into in a little while as well. At the bottom over here you have some information about Olight, and on the top is just a barcode. And now let's get to the unboxing experience. In order to open up this box, all you have to do is lift up this flap and it will come right open, and then you have a tab that says slide to open. You can pull this out very slightly and then everything will just slide out just like that. Now on the back is the instruction manual, so be careful of that. But you are first greeted with a set of instructions. Read me over here. It tells you what to do before the first use. You want to first open up the Warrior 2 Mini and then remove the film that is in between the connector and the battery, and then you want to charge it fully. There is also a proximity sensor that I will also be talking about further into the video. So let's remove this and set this aside. I want to let you guys know that I have already fully charged the light. Let's flip this over. On the back you have an instruction manual, and there are some other goodies in here as well. You have a really cool ring-shaped carabiner. This is not for climbing. I mean, it's already stated there, it's not for climbing. The max load is 5 kilograms. Let me just take this out of the package. And you could see it is a very nice matte black ring-shaped carabiner. You've got the Olight branding on the clip area that is debossed in, and then you have this printed here in silver, not for climbing, so that's a disclaimer as well. I'm quite a fan of circular shaped or ring shaped carabiners. I have a bunch of them, and it's nice that Olight actually included this with the flashlight as well. Then we have the charger. This is the magnetic charger, and I don't know if there's a difference between certain magnetic chargers. I think there's generation 1, 2 and 3. This is the first time I'm actually seeing one with a red base. I don't know if there's any difference in the colors across the different magnetic chargers, but yeah, it's included with the package as well. And then last but not least, you have this thing, which is basically a wrist strap. Very interesting shaped wrist strap, and all you gotta do is just take this part and loop it through the lanyard slot of the flashlight. Now, here we go. This is the flashlight. All you gotta do is just take it out of that packaging or this ballistic molded package thing. And let's just put all this back into the box, kind of make this area a little bit tidier. Oh, you know what guys, I completely forgot to introduce our friend for today, and it is none other than the praying fox. I have no name for this praying fox, but it's quite cute, and the way this is described is that it's praying, but You know, at the same time, I could kind of say that this is saying thank you. So I'm going to put the fox right here, our little friend for today. And it is saying thank you Olight for this, because this is quite awesome. Now let us talk about the features. Like I said, I've had the Warrior Mini 2 on my EDC for the past couple of weeks. So I feel confident enough to share with you my thoughts, some of the things that I like, some of the things that I found so-so. And of course, one of the biggest reasons why I'm actually showcasing to you guys the Olight Warrior Mini 2 is because the Warrior Mini 2 is this month's featured flashlight for the Olight monthly flash sale. More details to come shortly. Now let's continue about this thing. Now here we have this carabiner, as I was mentioning, and then you have a split ring at the bottom of the light. So with this, basically Olight is encouraging the use of this as sort of on a keychain, or say for example on a bag, a strap, a loop, anything. And yeah, this is actually quite convenient to have. Of course, if you are having a key fob with a carabiner already, you can consider actually hooking the Warrior Mini 2 to your key fob or your key rings, because this is super portable. And I believe that possibly the biggest reason why they are encouraging this is because they are positioning the Warrior Mini 2 as a defense light. I'll get to that in a while. So please kindly keep that in mind as we progress through this video. Let me remove this because it's going to be easier to talk about the light without the carabiner there. Alright, so the next thing that you want to do, or the next order of things basically, is to unscrew and open up the Olight Warrior Mini 2 to get into the battery compartment. And there we go, that is that insulating film. You want to first remove that. And looking at the battery, this is powered by an Olight custom 18650 rechargeable lithium ion battery, 3500 milliamperes, 3.6 volts. And the next thing that I want to call out is that there is an O-ring around the lip here, which means that yes, everyone, this is rated at IPX8. So all you got to do is just screw that back in, and then you want to charge it. Now, like I said, this has been fully charged. So now let's talk about the construction and the aesthetics of the Warrior Mini 2. Starting from the top here is the lens, and then you see that black area over there, that is the proximity sensor. And then around the lens, you have this crown that is anodized in blue, and this crown has some kind of knurling to it, almost like a glass breaker or I guess a shatter sort of design, although I don't think it's that sharp. I don't know how sturdy this thing is, but all I can say is yes, it has that texture over here. Moving down along the sides, there is this really interesting, I guess, sort of a sine wave pattern. I'm just gonna call it a sine wave pattern, guys. I could call it a zigzag or whatever, but yeah, there is this pattern going around the sides of the lens. And then lower down, you actually have the on and off power switch, and this is also a battery indicator. There are 4 levels of indication, and then around the power button is also another ring that is anodized in blue. You know, Olight's very cool accent color. And on the back of that is the dual direction pocket clip, which is always a welcome addition. If you don't like it, the pocket clip is removable. So yeah, it's entirely your choice. Now there is a little slot up here, and this is for the lanyard. Right here, oh sorry, I grabbed the charger instead. So this is where you kind of loop this part of the lanyard in, if that's something that you want to do. Personally, I like it this way. I think it's completely fine. Now moving further down, we have the Olight logo. This looks to be lasered on. I can't really tell because this is really smooth. It feels like as if there's nothing there, but I do believe this is lasered on. And on the other side is the model of the light, the Warrior Mini 2, and then you have the serial number there. Underneath the pocket clip is the QR code and the CE mark. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's right there. Moving down from that is the main body or the grip area, and this features a very comfortable sort of knurling. It is not a double diamond pattern. It is not a double helix kind of pattern. Let me just bring the friendship in, so you can see the knurling on the friendship as well as the parent 2, and with that you are able to see all the different type of knurlings. So the Warrior Mini 2 has this sort of knurling, and I want to say now that none of these knurlings across all of these lights are uncomfortable at all. Like, these offer really good grip, but yet it is not one that will give you any kind of hot spots or any kind of soreness when you grip onto it. So it's really nice to use. This feels very comfortable. Now moving further down here is another clip that holds this key ring over here. Now if you don't like this ring, or this split ring, jump ring, key ring, or whatever this is called, I should make it a habit to call this a split ring. If you don't like this key ring here, you could just remove this entire clip. It is completely up to you. All you gotta do is just yank it out, but I'm going to keep it on for the sake of this video. Personally, my choice would be to remove this because I already have this pocket clip over here. Yep, so it's really entirely up to you how you want to configure this thing for your carry purposes. Now on the bottom here is something very interesting. You have these 3 nubs that don't actually serve a purpose besides allowing this to kind of stand and balance, but this is also the magnetic charging point. So when you are charging your light, it just attaches on right there. That's how you charge it. but this is also a tail switch. Yes guys, that's right, there are two switches on this light. One here which is the side switch and one here on the bottom which is the tail switch. Okay, now I want to talk about the operation of the Warrior Mini 2, and we are going to be focusing on the side switch for now. So with the side switch, you have access to every single mode that is available on this flashlight. The first is the standard. Press the side switch once to turn it on and press it once to turn it off. Press it on once to turn it on, press it once to turn it off. Now when you have it turned on, and this is the medium light mode setting, in order for you to cycle through the different brightness levels, you want to press and hold it and you will switch to the next level of brightness. Now it's going to go from medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. I'll just keep cycling like that. So let me show you what I mean. Press and hold once to change to the next light mode setting. This is high. Press it again and it'll drop back down to low. And then if I press and hold it and I don't let go, it's just going to cycle through medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. Now before I carry on, I want to tell you guys that in the low light mode setting, you're getting 15 lumens. In the medium light mode settings, you're going to get 120 lumens. And then in the high light mode settings, you're going to get 500 lumens. Now with that said, when it's in the high mode, so this is the high mode setting, that is when the proximity sensor comes into play. So there is, like I said to you guys, a proximity sensor right here on the lens. And the purpose of the proximity sensor is whenever it detects that there is an object close by, it'll dim the light. So check this out. This is now at 500 lumens. And when I move the light closer to my hand, it drops down to 200 lumens. 500, 200, 500, 200. The next thing I'm going to share with you about this standard operation is that it memorizes the last mode that you had it on. For example, we had it on high. So it's always going to turn on high once you tap it once. Now if I had it in, say for example, the low light mode setting and you turn it off, once you turn it on again, it's going to be at the low light mode setting. Simple and straightforward. Now beyond the low, medium and high modes, there is a moonlight mode. So the moonlight mode is accessed by pressing the side switch and holding it for 1 second. And this is going to be really dim because the moonlight mode has the brightness at 1 lumen. So I'm going to bring the light and my hand closer to the lens because all these lights might actually overpower that. So just for comparison, this is the low light mode setting. And if I press and hold this for a second, you have that 1 lumen right there. Hopefully you guys can see it. Hopefully it's getting picked up on camera. Once again, press and hold for moonlight mode. Now here's the thing. In this setting here, now that it's in moonlight, and you guys saw that I just turned it off in the moonlight mode, this also affects the memory of the standard operation. So now that we had it in moonlight and we turn it off, once we tap once, it goes back into the moonlight mode. Then in order for you to cycle through, it goes to low, medium and high. It does not go back to moonlight. It goes back to low, medium, high because it is in the standard operation cycle. So here we have 1 lumen and then I'm going to press and hold it. It goes to low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. And then for you to access the moonlight mode again, just press and hold this for 1 second and you go back into the moonlight mode. Now, in my opinion, this is quite silly. I don't know why this is done because, you know, I guess you could say that by using this a lot, you will kind of train yourself to press and hold the button for 1 second in order to access the moonlight mode. So the general psyche is once you're done with this moonlight mode setting, you just turn it off. And then the next time you turn it on again, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is in the moonlight mode setting. You're going to have to trouble yourself to go and cycle through to the light mode that you want. Say for example, I actually had it in the medium light mode setting and I liked this setting, but then for some reason, I had to use the moonlight mode. So I got in moonlight, I do whatever I need to do, turn it off, and then I go and I say, okay, I'm going to use the light again. I'll turn it on and I'll be like, wait, it's on moonlight. I have to go low, medium again. So that's quite cumbersome. In my opinion, I think that the moonlight mode should not be part of the memory setting, but there has to be a reason why Olight did it that way, but that's just my personal opinion. Now moving on to the next light mode setting, guys, you're going to get a turbo mode. So beyond 500 lumens, this turbo mode pushes the output of this light to 1750 lumens. And in order for you to access that, you just have to double tap the side switch. Double tap it and it goes to 1750 lumens. Now in this mode, the proximity sensor works as well. Once it goes close to an object, it dims down and it brightens up again when you move it away. Close by, dims down, and far away, it goes up. I have to say that in the turbo mode, you're going to feel the light warm up quite quickly. I've only turned it on for like a few seconds, and now I can actually feel the whole thing warming up starting from the light source area, which of course I mean is to be expected, but I guess I did not expect how quickly this thing warms up or heats up. Now there's one thing I want to highlight about the proximity sensor. Now let me just bring the parent tool back into frame because the parent tool also has a proximity sensor. Now I'm going to turn this on to the turbo mode. And it looks like this. Now when I bring this closer to my hand or an object, see how it sort of dims down to a lower brightness and then it kind of slowly, progressively brightens up again. See, there is a dimming, a gradual sort of transition between the low and high light modes. Versus here on the Warrior Mini 2, in the turbo mode, it's very obvious where it just kind of jumps the difference in the light settings. So yep, you see that jump, it just immediately switches. Now I have to be honest and say that this actually doesn't bother me. It might bother some people, but in this turbo mode setting, it really doesn't bother me. Yeah, it's nice that this thing actually dims down a little bit when you have something nearby, because if there's something really close to it though, for example, then you know that the light is going to heat up at a much more exponential rate, and that could be detrimental to the light overall. The next light mode setting is what Olight would consider as part of the defense mechanism. This is the strobe light setting, and in order for you to access that, you want to triple click the side switch, and this happens. This is the strobe light. Now it's strobing at, I believe it is 1750 lumens. Now here's what I want to highlight. The proximity sensor also works in this light mode setting. So when it goes closer to an object, you can see it dim down and it brightens once you move away from the object. And in order for you to get out of this, just tap it once and it turns right off. Now, in my opinion, if I'm using this as a self-defense tool, for example, if I have an assailant or an aggressor in front of me, I know that a strobe light is going to be a good, strong deterrent, because no one likes to be flashed in their face with a strobe light, especially if people are trying to reach out to you in a dark alley or a dark hallway or whatever. This is actually really handy. But what I don't understand is, why is there a need for that proximity sensor when it's in the strobe light mode? It is a self-defense thing. I wouldn't want this to dim down when, say for example, an aggressor is getting closer to me. You get what I mean? So this is something that is just personal opinion and personal preference, although I believe that there has to be a reason why Olight implemented that here. But that's something for you to take note of, and that is my thoughts on this particular function or feature. So those are the 4 modes of operation for the side switch. Once again, it is the moonlight mode, the standard operation, you have the turbo mode, and then the strobe light mode. Now let's talk about the tail switch, and that is interesting to me because I did not expect that one light would have 2 different switches here, and this doesn't operate in the same way as the side switch. So the way Olight is positioning this is that the side switch is used for standard everyday carry kind of use, and the tail switch is used for more tactical purposes. For me, it's just, I guess, a personal preference on how you want to carry your flashlight. Of course, when you have it in this grip, it is much more convenient to have a switch where your thumb can easily access, right, versus having it in this way. There are 2 settings that you can have the tail switch to operate. So the first mode of operation here is when you half press it, or you kind of give it some pressure. I won't say half press, it feels almost towards the end of the push. Then you have it in the high mode, and if you push it all the way, you hear an audible click, and then it goes into the turbo mode. Sorry, I had it too close to the desk, that's why it kind of went into turbo and then it went down because the proximity sensor is kicking in. Once again, proximity sensor does kick in, but you guys heard that there's an audible click. So half press, full press, and when you slowly let go, it does not go back into the half press because it clicks off completely. So half press again, you can let it go from here, not a problem. Half press and then full press, and once you let it go, it's going to turn off. Now here's another interesting thing about this particular way of operating with the light, and that's kind of like I guess a toggle switch. I don't know what you call that, a momentary switch. So if you have it here in the high mode for a little while, I think about maybe half a second or so, and you let go, it turns off. But if you get it into the high mode and you actually release the button quick enough, just like that, then it stays on in the high mode. So versus what we had just now where we actually held it in that position and then we let go like that, it turns off. So once again, let me demonstrate that to you. If you have it in this mode and you hold it for a little while, once you let go, it'll turn off. But if you get it there and then you immediately let go, this will stay on. This is true as well for the turbo mode. So once again, I'm going to fully depress it. It gets into turbo mode, and when I let go, it turns off. But if I push it down all the way really quickly and I let go, it stays on in the turbo mode. Of course, proximity sensor also works here. That's interesting, and that gives you a lot of control, but I have to say that if you're not used to this, or if you have not been practicing with this, then this is going to be very confusing to you. However, there is a different setting altogether. There are 2 ways of using this thing. I don't know what you could call it, like 2 profiles maybe. So right now this is in the first profile. Okay, I can't really say it's the first or second because it just flips between two. But okay, so this right now is in the profile of where a half press is the highlight mode setting and a full press is the turbo mode. And the next profile is one where a half press is the turbo mode and a full press is the strobe light mode. And in order for you to switch profiles, basically you want to depress the tail switch fully and hold it there, and then you want to tap the side switch once. Now this is in the second profile. So a half press now is going to put this into the turbo mode, and then a full press will be the strobe light mode. In my opinion, this mode, or this profile I should say, is in my opinion more of a defense sort of profile, because I want to really quickly just be able to kind of start the strobe light instead of worrying about, oh no, which profile is this, and I'm going to be fiddling with this, or thinking I'm kind of nervous now and I'm rushing through things, I'm holding it this way and I have to triple click this thing. And in my opinion, that is not as intuitive as just grabbing the light this way and then depressing this for the strobe light, because this is way more threatening in my opinion. This sends a message, hey, it's a strobe light now, don't mess with me. So that's just my personal opinion. Really, it's entirely up to you how you want to use this. But with that all said, we've now gone through all of the different operations of the Olight Warrior Mini 2. So this is actually quite packed with a lot of different light modes and a lot of features. I think it's a pretty good solid flashlight, and I guess I should commend Olight for trying to market this as a self-defense light. That strobe light with this tail operation is really something that I think is quite useful to have. And the next order of things is a quick size comparison, and I'm going to be using an average size lighter, and of course I'm going to bring in the Civivi Elementum. And personally, I think that these two items are actually quite good to be used in terms of the EDC world, because in my opinion, the Elementum is a super popular folding pocket knife and a great EDC tool to have. And of course, a lighter, right? But I must not forget all the brothers out there who still love the stubby, and then of course the stubby gets a feature as well. So this is a quick size comparison to let you know, hey, the Warrior Mini 2 is actually quite pocketable. If you compare in terms of length versus the Elementum, it's not too much taller than the Elementum, and it is not that chunky. Like if you compare this to, say for example, the Parent 2, look, the Parent 2 is actually quite a chunky boy, and then if we compare this to the Friendship, it's about the same width altogether. So yeah, it's quite pocketable, I must say. Last but not least, let's talk about the price of the Olight Warrior Mini 2. This is going to retail at 123 Singapore dollars. That equates to roughly about just under 100 US dollars. And with that said, I'd like to give you more details about this month's Olight flash sales. I mentioned earlier in the video, the Warrior Mini 2 is the feature product for the month of June 2021. First of all, the Olight mid-year flash sale will start at 8 PM on the 24th of June and will end at 10 AM on the 26th of June. So that's the 1.5 day period for you guys to go ahead and take advantage of all the crazy sales. First thing I'm going to call out is that this Warrior Mini 2 will be on a 25% discount. So upon launching, you're going to get this at 92 Singapore dollars, which equates to under 80 US dollars for this thing. On top of that, there are a total of 3 colorways for you to choose from. What you see right here is black. You have also Desert Tan and the Mountain Sky colorways, and I personally think that the Mountain Sky colorway is absolutely beautiful. And apart from that 25% discount on the Olight Warrior Mini 2, there are also bundle discounts. For example, if you get a Warrior Mini 2 with an i1R2 in purple, that's going to get you a total of 35% discount off both items in a bundle. And for more details, please check out the description box down below. I'll put all the details there, as well as my affiliate link. Make sure that you use my affiliate link so that Olight knows that I sent you. Now, in the previous Olight flash sales videos, I've always mentioned to you guys, please use my coupon code as well. Now, I've been updated by the Olight team that the coupon code will not work during flash sales period. Now, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. So just to let you guys know, don't be surprised if you try and use my coupon code and you realize nothing's happening or it's not registering. That's because this only happens during the flash sales period. As long as you use the affiliate link that I have in the description box down below, that will be good enough. So what's the point then of the coupon code? Whenever it is not a flash sales period, whenever it is not a special event period, and you use my coupon code, that will get you 10% off your order. Right, so just take note of that, keep that in mind. I really appreciate it whenever you guys browse and peruse the site using my affiliate link, but when it's not during any special events, make sure to use my coupon code and get yourself 10% off. So once again, this guy over here is the main focus of the June 2021 Olight flash sales. This will be on at least, I'm saying at least right now, 25% discount off. take advantage of that. If this is something that is right up your alley, don't miss out on this chance, because you're probably never going to get this at 25% discount ever again. And that is it, everyone. We've come to the end of this video. I hope that you found this informative and interesting, and if you liked it, I hope that you will give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. And if you are not subscribed, then I hope that you will consider subscribing. But if I did not earn your sub today, that is okay. I promise I'll continue working on my content, and hopefully one day I will be able to earn your sub. Another great way to support this channel is over on Patreon. I'll put a link up here to that in case you want to check it out. We have Patreon exclusive content as well as Patreon exclusive giveaways from time to time. So if you do become a patron of mine, thank you so much in advance. It really means a lot to me. Now, if you notice, I just keep on just twirling this thing. I just want to show you guys all the details here, just for you to kind of look at. It's just a little bit more eye candy, right? But with that said, once again, a huge shout out and a huge thank you to Olight and Olight Mora for putting this in my hands. I'm glad that I was able to spend some time with it, some quality time, so that I could give everyone my thoughts and my opinions on the Olight Warrior Mini 2. It is packed with a lot of features, so much so that I already shared with you guys my thoughts on some of the features, and it's all really personal opinion. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout and sharing in this slice of my life, and I will catch all of you in the next slice. Before I go, I really hope and pray that the audio quality, the camera quality and everything will be good for this video. Bye!